never recorded to the cloud. Okay, recording asti. Rajashi Mahati bhavati vadati va? Prarthana shlokam vadatu.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. That
Saraswati.
I'm forgetting the beginning of that.
Yenakshara samamnaya.
Yenakshara samamnaya अधिगम्य महेश्वर कृष्णं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्.
आरम्भं कुर्मः. तो इदानीं भवन्तः सर्वे इति न भवत्यौ तु गतसप्ताहे भानुमहोदयेन सह पठितवन्तः. तत्र आकाङ्क्षाक्रमेण कथम् अन्वयं करणीयम् इति पठितवत्यौ खलु तत्र. आम्. तो अहं किञ्चित् actually I had prepared some slides. प्रीति महोदया दृष्टवती. अहम् इदानीं share screen करोमि. एकनिमिषं. प्रथमतया we've always done आकाङ्क्षा क्रमेण. We've always done it खलु. The way we've always done. Where did it go? Shamitam, oh God. Oh, atra asti. Whenever we've talked about how do I move this? Good God. Shamitam. Whenever we've talked about Vakyani, whenever we've talked about how to dissect a statement in Sanskritam, we've actually always used the Akanksha Krama, if you remember. We've always found the Kriyapadam. We've always asked, which ones are the Karakas, which one is Shashti Vibhakti. That's how we've always done it, right? From the first class, in our class. Because otherwise it's a little hard to make sense of the statement. In my opinion, for me, it's always easiest to go and ask questions and then get the answers. But as you saw, when you do the questionings, like sometimes when I asked the question and you guys gave me the answer, some people would say, Mahoday, you asked the right question. That's why we gave that answer, right? So you have to know what question to ask in order to get the correct answer. And how do you know the correct question to ask? How do you know which question to ask? Based off of the?
Based on the vibhakti.
Based on the vibhakti. It's as simple as that. You based on the vibhakti, you compare it. Is this vakyam, it's connected to this kriyapadam. This vakyam is connected to this kriyapadam. So this kriyapadam, I'm looking at all the vibhakti forms. And based off of this vibhakti, I will ask the correct question. Then I will get the right answer. And that way our understanding also develops. It's easy to do that. So it's easy to do that for basic simple vakyani. How was the homework? Was the homework manageable? Haraprasad Mahodaya, Rajashri Mahodaya, was the homework?
Yes.
With the Vakyani, was it okay?
Yes, I've not completed, but yes, I could manage most of it.
If you'll notice, there were actually 4 statements in there which came out of the Parichaya book only. That was in Patha 1. It was the Subhashitam. There's a Subhashitam in the first Patha, which is actually based off of that only. Sadhunam darshanam punyam tirtha bhutha hi sadavah tirtham phalati kalena sadyah sadhu samagamah. That was there were 4 statements. Now you did the anvakramaha of those 4 statements. So when you go to read your first patha in your book, that will become easy for you to understand. That's Subhashitam. The second Subhashitam, it's on page 12 in the Parichaya Pustakam. It will become easy for you to understand. But what you will notice is when I put it in the homework, I broke it up. I broke up the words. If 2 words, there was a mishranam, I broke it up. If there was sandhi, I removed the sandhi and I gave it to you. So it was easy. Aham sandhim bichedya eva dattavati. Tadrisham. So when I was studying for Parichaya, because now I'm studying for Shiksha and Kovida, so I know the sandhi rules. I know I'm even understanding Samastapadam. But when I was doing Pravesha and Parichaya, I did not know the sandhi. But what you will notice is that without knowing the rules, you can break down the words yourself based off of your vocabulary understanding. Correct? So for instance, if you have, which one was that? There is, so there is the second statement in that, sadhunam darshanam punyam tirtha bhuta hi sadhavaha. Now, when I looked at that statement, when I was doing parichaya, I got very confused. Why did I get confused? Because tirtha bhuta is strilingam, ekavachanam. Sadhavaha is pullingam, bahuvachanam. Right? So there is no correlation. Something is wrong. So the minute I saw that, and then I went and asked my guru, I went and asked a bunch of people, then I knew it was tirtha bhutaha. And there is a lopa. The visarga has been dropped over there. So you have to do that. You have, when you look at your subhashitani, when you look at your anvaya krama, when you look at anything, that suktis, anything in the book, you have to go and see what is the vibhakti. Does it make sense? Is it connected? Can I see how the visheshyam is connected? If I can't, it means that something has happened there, or I am using the wrong word. Okay, and that process helped me in getting bhasha kaushalya. It is very useful. You have to go. See, I can do it. Surya Mahodaya will do it. Bhanu Mahodaya will do it. We'll present it to you on the screen. We'll give it to you, all that. But all that will not improve your understanding. Correct? It will not make you go and think harder. And when you go and read some other text, it will not be useful for you, because we are already giving it to you. We're spoon feeding it to you. But your job in the Parichaya Pustakam itself, in those Subhashitani and all that, when you read it, when you do that Vishleshanam, when you find, okay, I'm doing each of the Padavivaranam, I'm doing it, there is something happening here. The Visheshyam and the Visheshanam are not correlating. Something, I can't find the Kriya Padam. Something is weird. You come and ask. When you ask, then your knowledge grows. When we tell you, your knowledge doesn't grow as much. So you have to do that. So the book is there for you. We will try, I will do my best to put those in, and in the homework, I will do my best to put those in the slides, everything. But this is a universe, right, of knowledge. There is so much there that you have to do your part, which you're all doing. So I just wanted to let you know, because that was how I studied. That's how my interest also grew. There is so much there that what you'll find sometimes is when you ask those questions, we won't know the answer. So we'll all look at it together, we'll all study together, and all of our understanding will grow together. So that's what we need to do. And that is why this Anvaya Krama is foundational. Anvaya Krama, that is why when I started teaching Vakyani itself, I would do that Akanksha Kramena Anvaya Krama. Because without that understanding of, because that Sanskrit is so mathematical, so logical, without that understanding of that logic, right, we cannot go deeper. So everything. So for me, when I do Sanskrit, someone comes and tells me, it's just given. So we take it as given, like that. Sometimes maybe it's true. But for me, I say, no, this language is such an amazing language. It is not anywhere close to English. There is going to be some reason. I am going to hunt for it. I am going to search for it. If I can't find it now, maybe I'll find it later, but it will be there. Correct? So that is the path that I would like all of us to go through, so that all of us, grow together. Because I will guaranteed I will learn from you guys. As you ask questions, as you tell me things, I will also 100% learn from you guys. And that is my goal in coming to this class. Okay, I will share whatever I know, but we are all growing together. So that's the goal. So when we ask those questions, now we know the basic questions to ask. We know that when there is a vibhakti, when it's tritiya vibhakti, we know how to ask kena or katham. When it is chaturthi vibhakti, we know to ask, kasyai, kasmai, or kimartham, tadrisham. We know how to ask those questions. So let's quickly do one exercise on that. I will slideshow. Okay, so I'll go in order. How many people do we have? Mahodaya, Preeti Mahodaya, will you ask them in order?
We have 6.
Okay. Rajashri Mahodaya, Taharambam Kurmahava. This is the first one I see on the screen. Or if you have an alphabetical order, you call out Mahodaya. Okay, so now the question is, I am giving you the answer. Whatever is in bold, Sthulakshare Yatkimapi Padamasti, your job is to ask the question to get that bolded word as the answer. Okay, so that is our job. So that is the abhyasam. Let's try. I'm not even going to give you an udaharanam. You'll be able to do it. So Rajashri Mahodaya Arambam Karotu. So here is the first word.
Kaha ahvayati.
कः आह्वयति यतः प्रथमा विभक्त्याम् अस्ति पदं तु कः आह्वयति अग्रे महोदय
हरप्रसाद महोदय भवान् म्यूट् मध्ये अस्ति
गणेशः कम् आह्वयति
सम्यक् now will it be wrong if I asked you did not see the answer you can also say Ganeshah kim ahvayati it doesn't matter right because you don't know the gender you don't know whether it's come or kam but because we are doing anvaya kramaha and we are seeing the answer we will ask in pullingam correct good very good agree
हीना महोदय
महोदय हीना महोदय अस्ति वा म्यूट् मध्ये अस्ति भवती
गणेशः केन सह शिशुम् आह्वयति
सम्यक् can you ask another question there are two questions there that you can ask if there is tritiya vibhakti it is a sadhanam correct so there is another question also you can ask do you know anybody know?
गणेशः कम् आह्वयति
katham
कथम्
ahvayati it doesn't make so much sense here because it is a with question here so kena saha but the thing is usually for tritiya vibhakti you have two options you have both the kena as the question and katham also as the question for tritiya vibhakti agre mahodaya
विजय महोदय
गणेशः भ्रात्रे
oh there is a spelling mistake it's bhratre kshamyatam
गणेशः भ्रात्रे भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति
what is the meaning of that statement what is the shabdah there bhratre
भ्रात्रे
what is the can you do the padavivaranam of bhratre it's like pitre
okay
matre
you want the vibhakti table
I want the can you tell me which vibhakti which vachanam which shabdam it is which shabdah is it this is a little harder that's why I'm asking all the others are easy to see
if it is like pitra then it will be prathama will be pita pitarau pitaraha pitram again pitrau and pitrum or
correct pitaram pitarau pitrin very good
then tritiya pitra pitrabhyam and pitrabhi chaturthi pitre pitre okay
so what is the vibhakti here
chaturthi okay
and the moola shabdam is
bhratra
what is bhratre
is it a brother or something
correct that's where the word brother came from
okay
bhratre is brother
okay. So
yes.
Ganeshah bhratre bhratrartham pitra saha shishum ahvayati
so bhratre and bhratrartham are both equivalent words okay they're both the same thing
okay.
So for the sake of for the brother iti asti tatra so what question can we ask there
okay chaturthi vibhakti we will ask kasyai
is it strilingam
oh sorry it's not strilingam so kasmai
samyak kasmai so ganeshah
kasmai pitra saha shishum ahvayati
samyak now look at that bhratrartham can you think of a
also
question
we can
to
ask
bhratrartham
kimartham
so for chaturthi vibhakti both are equivalent for tritiya vibhakti you can ask kena or kaya and katham for chaturthi vibhakti you can ask kasmai kasyai or kimartham and you'll get the answer. Even if it was not Bhratrartham, even if it is Bhratre, you can still ask him Artham. Because for what reason?
Okay.
Why did he call? He called for the brother. Iti. Tadeva asti. Kimartham.
धन्यवादः.
Agre.
अहं करोमि.
Vadatu.
गणेशः प्रकोष्ठात् कस्मात् भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति.
Another question.
कस्मात् कुतः.
Samyak. Kasmat and kutaha. Dvayamapi samyak tatra. Uttama. Agre.
राजश्री महोदय.
Anuradha Modi bhi asti.
ओ अस्तु. इदानीम् अनुराधा अनंत महोदय.
गणेशः कार्यक्रमसमये प्रकोष्ठात् भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति. गणेशः कस्मिन् समये अथवा कदा
Samyak.
प्रकोष्ठात् भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति.
Samyak. So, like I said, Einstein's general relativity, both space-time continuum. You can ask both Saptami Vibhakti question and Kada. Okay. So both are equivalent. You can ask both. Kasmin samaye nachet kada.
भवती दर्शयति गणित अध्यापिका इति.
तो अस्मि एव. अग्रे कः?
राजश्री महोदय.
राजश्री महोदय करोतु.
गणेशः कार्यक्रमसमये रामस्य प्रकोष्ठात् भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति. रमेशः.
Sorry, the stove was on. वदतु.
गणेशः कस्य कार्यक्रमसमये प्रकोष्ठात् भ्रात्रार्थं पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति.
कस्य कार्यक्रमसमये वा? यदि अहं कस्य कार्यक्रमसमये इति वदामि चेत् तु तत्र सम्बन्धं कुत्र भवति?
It will be with the कार्यक्रम.
Right now what is the where is the relationship?
गणेशस्य सह
तु रामस्य गणेशः वा, रामस्य कार्यक्रमः वा, रामस्य प्रकोष्ठः वा, रामस्य भ्रात्रा वा, भ्राता वा, कः तत्र?
गणेशः.
रामस्य कः? रामस्य किं भवति तत्र?
गणेशः कार्यक्रमसमये
कस्मात् आह्वयति गणेशः? प्रकोष्ठात्. कस्य प्रकोष्ठात्?
रामस्य प्रकोष्ठात्.
तत्रैव सम्बन्धः अस्ति. So when you ask the Shashti Vibhakti question, you have to ask to the correct Namapadam also there, because otherwise the sambandham won't be clear. So with all the others, it is easy. You just ask. Even if I ask kaha ahvayati, kam ahvayati, kena saha ahvayati, kasmat ahvayati, enough. I can just ask that question to the kriya. I don't have to add Ganeshaha, kena saha, shishum ahvayati. I don't have to ask that. If I just ask kena saha ahvayati, it will come pitra saha ahvayati. But for the kasya, if I say kasya Ganeshaha, then that is wrong. It is not Ramasya Ganeshaha. It is not kasya karyakramaha, because that will be Ramasya karyakramaha nasti. Kasya prakoshtah asti, Ramasya prakoshtah asti. So there you have to be careful to ask the correct Namapadam the question. At the which is the sambandham.
Okay.
Tadeva bhavati. Agre.
हरप्रसाद महोदय.
महोदय, अहं एकं प्रश्नं पृच्छामि. Now, so you gave some alternative forms for Tritiya Vibhakti. I can use Kena or Khatam, and for Chaturthi Vibhakti, Kasyaya or Kasmai or Kimartham, and for Panchami, Tasmat or Kutaha, and for Saptami, Kaspin or Kada.
You can also ask Kutra.
Kutra
Saptami.
also.
Ah.
Kutra. Kutra. Okay. Is there anything for, so you do alternative from 3 to 7. How
Yes.
about is anything for 6 for Shashti Vibhakti?
Kasya or kasyaha only. I don't know anything else for Shashti, Prathama, and Dvitiya.
Okay.
If I come across anything or you guys come across something, you let me know.
So Dvitiya, you said Kam and or Kim.
Kim, you can ask. If you don't know the answer to anything, you can always ask the question in Napumsakalingam. If you don't know the gender of the answer, anytime at all, you can always ask in Napumsakalingam.
So Kam, Kam, or Kim, we can ask.
Yes. Yes.
If
So
we
if
know
we-
gender, we can ask Kam or Kam. If we don't know, we can ask Kim. Okay.
Yes.
So,
So
therefore,
if we know the linga, definitely, then we can ask the appropriate Dvitiya Vibhakti Prashna Vachaka.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, got
Yes.
it.
If you don't
Okay.
know the lingam, you can't assume it. So you ask in Napumsakalingam.
Got
That
it.
is what we learn even when we do other Bhava Vachaka and all. The general rule is you don't know the lingam, you go Napumsakalingam. That's all.
Got
You
it.
don't know the vachanam, you go Ekavachanam. That's all.
Got it.
Haraprasad.
उत्पीठिकायां एकः चमसः एव अस्ति. So asti is the kriyapadam. So ekah utpitikayam ekah chamasah. Ekah is
So if I tell you the English, I'll tell you the English sentence. On the table, there is only one spoon. So what will you ask me the question?
Kasya. No. Kidrusha?
You can do that. Definitely. You can say Kidrishaha chamasaha asti. You can do that.
Yeah.
But if I want, so then I can answer that, oh, there's a silver spoon. Correct. Kidrishaha. Or there's a small spoon, or there's a big spoon. Is there any question where I can precisely, the answer will be a number?
Okay. If for another, how many? Can I say katam?
Kati.
No, not katam, kati.
Correct. But how will we ask the question?
Okay.
Can you try the question?
Yes. Utpitikayam. For one spoon, I cannot use how many.
But you don't know. You don't know the answer.
No, for one spoon, I cannot ask kati, because kati means how many.
Correct. So you will ask the question in Bahuvachanam.
Okay. Utpitikayam kati chamasaha santi.
Samyak. The reason for this is because kati is only found in Bahuvachanam. So you cannot ask kati chamasaha asti. So you have to ask kati chamasaha santi. It is a special word. For this, you have to ask in Bahuvachanam. Of course, you can still ask kidrishaha chamasaha because the ekaha, as you can see, is prathama vibhakti ekavachanam, just like chamasaha. It is a visheshanam of the chamasaha word. So you can definitely still ask kidrishaha, but that we will go on to learn. So for here right now, it is a counting question. So the more appropriate question is to ask kati, right?
Okay.
But later, when we go on to do Visheshanam of Sankhya Vachaka Shabdaha, you will see how to ask the Kidrisha question to the Sankhya also. Okay? Where it's always based on context. You always decide which question is better to ask in which context. Here, because the answer is a count, it's literally we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we will ask kati over here. But Kidrisha is not wrong. It is still correct, grammatically speaking. Contextually speaking, kati is better. That's all. Huh? Okay, agree.
Vijay Mahoday had some question.
Okay.
Nagarat.
For me, no?
Vijay Mahoday.
Nagarat Upapanchayat Nagarat
Upa-pancha-yojananam.
Okay.
Yojanamasti khalu, the distance.
Okay.
So upa means close to. About upa-pancha-yojananam dure phalavrikshavati asti. There is a orchard.
Okay. So Upa Panchayojana Nam is what you said?
So upa means close to.
Okay.
About.
Huh.
Approximately. Pancha yojananam. 5 yojanas. About 5 yojanas distance.
Acha, Yojana is some distance, measurement of distance, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
Like a kilometer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But it's not so if I told you in English, from the city, about 5 kilometers distance away, there is an orchard. How will you get that about 5 kilometers away? Will you ask how many, or will you ask how much?
How many I will ask?
Will you ask, okay, if you ask how many kilometers, yes, but right now I don't know, it's approximate. So dure, how far, how much distance?
Okay.
Huh? How much is the distance? That's what you will ask. Do you know the question for how much? Uncounting, when it's not countable, when it's not kati. Anybody know?
Kiyat.
Kiyat. So can you ask the question there?
I didn't know that.
It's okay. Now you know. So
Nagarat,
when you can count, when you can take and you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, you ask kati. When you can't do that, when you say kiyat jalam asti samudre, kiyat dure asti, you don't know, you can't count over there. Kati kilometer dure asti iti prashtum shaknumaha, because there we can count the kilometers. But if we don't know whether we're measuring in kilometers or in, palm distance or in yojanas or something, so kiyat dure asti.
okay. So Nagarat Kiyat Dure Phala Vrikshavati Asti or Santi now in this?
Asti only. Kiyat is there in that we'll go into the next page. Yes. So asti. So that is a new one. Don't worry. We'll go into more exercises on this later. I just wanted to, I always like throwing things at you guys at the beginning, and then later you'll see it more and more and it will be in your blood. So that's basically the point of this.
Mahodaya, उत्तरं षष्ठी विभक्ति एव अस्ति वा?
कियत् जलम् अस्ति, बहु जलम् अस्ति, किञ्चित् जलम् अस्ति, अधिकं जलम् अस्ति समुद्रे, तादृशं भवति खलु.
परन्तु अत्र षष्ठी बहुवचनं विभक्ति अस्ति किल?
because that is दूरम् इति अस्ति, so योजनानां दूरम् इति भवति तत्र. योजनस्य दूरं, belonging to the, it is like a sambandham that is happening there. Okay. So this is not the greatest example for kiyat. I will get better examples for kiyat. It was a last minute inclusion for kiyat. I'll get better examples, but the concept of kiyat versus kati. Kati is countable, kiyat is uncountable. I think the easiest kiyat example is samudre kiyat jalam asti. That is the best question. Samudre adhikam jalam asti. सरोवरे कति जलम् अस्ति? इदानीं ग्रीष्मकालम् अस्ति तु सरोवरे न्यूनं जलम् अस्ति. तदेव. So kiyat is, and when you cannot count, but how much इति अस्ति, तदेव अस्ति.
But the answer here was more of what Saptami, is it?
उपपञ्चयोजनानां दूरे. कियत् दूरे? उपपञ्चयोजनानां दूरे अस्ति.
महोदय, also upa iti प्रयोगः उदाहरणमपि कृपया ददातु. अधुना नास्ति, परन्तु कदापि.
उपनिषत्.
महोदय, भवती इदानीं कोविदा मध्ये समस्तपदं करोति खलु?
तत्र उपपदसमासः
तदेव अस्ति. उपपदसमासः इति अहं चिन्तयामि. I don't remember the exact name. परन्तु उपकृष्णम् इति भवति खलु? कृष्णस्य समीपे उपकृष्णम्. तत्र वदन्ति अष्टाध्याय्यां कति सूत्राणि सन्ति? चतुस्सहस्रं तादृशं. So close to, approximately. Anytime we don't know the exact amount, we throw an upa over there.
Mahodaya,
I understood, but I didn't remember. Thank you.
Yeah. It is like Upanishad.
Upanishad. I don't know. That is a very good point actually.
It is. Upa means sitting nearby.
What does Nishad mean?
Upanishad means you listen to the Guru sitting nearby.
Oh,
That
thank
upa
you.
is different, no, Mahodaya. That upa is closeness. Atra upa iti almost.
But same thing,
About.
close to. Look at the context.
Oh,
Close
approx-
to.
Close
It's
to
all
how
approximately
close
close to.
we don't know how close. Actually.
Sanskrit, you can't do English translation. In fact, a lot of the times you can see that like if you sort of picture it, you can sort of see the similarities. So, like that.
Correct. Okay. Good.
Agre gachamah. Saptakakaraha. Tatra, you guys have done this, but I just wanted to make some things clear about the Vibhakti Rupani. So, Kim, we already know. There is, you can do kaha, kauke, kam. You can do in Pullingaha. You can do in Strilingaha, kake, kaha, kamke, kaha. You can also do in Napumsakalinga, kim, ke, kani, right? Trishulingeshu api santi, Rupani. Trishu vachaneshu api santi, Rupani. That is well known to us. Kimartham idanim asmakam stare kevalam avyaya rupena upayogam kurmaha. Parantu, if you go and listen to some vyakhyanas and you listen to something, you might hear kimarthaha arthaha. You might hear it in Pullinga, you might hear it in Strilinga. The problem is, I don't know when to use what. All I know is it is there. Okay? But it has an avyayam form. It also has a visheshanam trishulingeshu, trishu vachaneshu form. But for us, we will only use it in avyayam form at this point in time. But if you hear it as kimarthaha, kimartha, it is not wrong. Okay? So I want to let you know because I have heard it used by Samya Krishnapur and I don't think she usually goes wrong in all those things. So as we go forward, if we find out more, we will discuss it. If you hear about it, please let me know. Okay?
No,
but for now,
yeah, 1 minute. May I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't understand. You said you have to use kimartam for avyaya padam?
No. Kimartham, we will not use at our stage, we will not use as kimarthaha vishayaha. We will not use those. We will not use with a lingam vachanam visheshanam form. We will only use in avyayam, in an avyayam question. Kimartham etadrisham bhavati, kimartham etadrisham karoti. We will only use in avyayam form, meaning we will only use kimartham without any change in that format. But if you go and listen to some other class or you listen to some vyakhyanam and you hear kimarthaha, if you hear kimartha, it is not wrong. It has those forms. I don't know where it is used.
Okay, let me ask you this. This Subhashina Sitam, it says, Suptasya Simhasya Mukhe Nahi Bhrugaha Pravishanti. Okay, Nahi, Na, Hi, both are avyas here.
Correct.
Now, we use, when we do the Anvaya Krama, we don't use kimartham for na, for the avyaya padas na and hi. Na
No.
hi is taken along with pravishanti.
Correct. Kimartham is used for Chaturthi Vibhakti. Correct?
Kimartham is used for correct. Yeah.
We don't use why am I saying is it avyayam? Because we don't change the lingam vachanam vibhakti. That is, it is an avyayam by itself. The answer is not an avyayam. The answer will be in Chaturthi Vibhakti or in Artham Tadrisham.
Oh, okay.
The question word itself. Right now, what are we doing? We're looking at the question words. What are the words? What is the format of the padam? The padam kimartham at this point in time, we will use as an avyayam.
Got it.
But if you hear kimarthaha kimartha, it is not wrong, is what I want to say. Okay.
So, Mahodaya, one question. So essentially, what you are mentioning is like we have kam, kam. So like that for kimartham, whether it's Strilinga or Pullinga, shabda for chaturthi, we will ask kimartam.
Correct.
Okay, clear.
Correct. That's
And
it.
what is this asmakam stare? I didn't understand.
Ours. Asmakam means asmad shabdasya shashti bahuvachanam. So asmakam. Stare means in the level. So in our current level, you will only be using an avyayam format.
Okay,
That is
understood. Clear.
Agre, kati. Now kati, you have seen kati, and the most of the times when you use kati, you've only used it in bahuvachanam prathama vibhakti. I would like to tell you that it is there in all the vibhakti forms are there in only bahuvachanam. So if you look at your if you look at this, if you look at Samskrita Abhyasaha in this one, but not Abhyasaha, why am I going into Abhyasaha? Rupani. Suppose I go into Kati. So, Ikaranta Trishulingeshu Bahuvachane asti. Kati, Kati, Katibhihi, Katibhyaha, Katibhyaha, Katinam, Katishu, Katishu. It is there in all the formats. So, it is also a Visheshanam. Okay. Aham dvabhyam chamasabhyam upayujya aham khadami iti asti chet. Tatra I cannot say dvabhyam will not work. Yes, I can. Then I will ask the question in you know what? I will next lesson I will set up an exercise on kati with bahuvachanam in all the vibhakti forms. Okay? But it is going to be similar to visheshanam only. But for now, note that kati has only bahuvachanam forms. It has in all the three lingas and it has in all the vibhaktis. Okay? So when you ask the question,
how will it change for strilinga? Is it going to change?
So it is chamasaha is pullinga. So suppose we have nadi, nadyau, nadyaha. So yadi sapta nadyaha santi tu, so you will ask in strilinga, it is actually trishulingeshu api kati eva asti.
Katishu.
Okay, it is kati only in for both for pullinga, strilinga and napumsakalinga.
Okay.
So you will ask kati nadyaha santi.
Okay.
Now if you say
is trishulingeshu, not it doesn't change with it.
No, it doesn't. And then suppose there is saptasu nadishu minaha chalanti iti asti chet. So then you'll ask katishu nadishu minaha chalanti. You won't say kati nadishu minaha chalanti. You'll say katishu nadishu minaha chalanti. You will look at what is the word that has the count associated with it. You will look at the vibhakti of that word, and the kati will also fall in the same vibhakti. That is the only thing. It is a visheshanam.
Okay.
Okay. The easy thing is
there is kati in. Okay, you mentioned nadishu, but if it is strilinga, something else, mahilasu or something. Then also will be katishu mahilasu.
Katishu mahilasu atmavishwasah asti.
Okay.
Dashasu mahilasu atmavishwasah asti.
Okay, then
same thing. It is a visheshanam. Okay, you will not see much of it, but I don't like to leave it. If I know something, I would like to let you know. So don't get confused with it, but note it down as a thing that is there. Okay.
Right.
Kiyat is also there. Kiyat is there in trishulingeshu, trishu vachaneshu cha. If kati is there only in bahuvachanam, kiyat is there in all the vachanams also. It is also a visheshanam. All these questions are all visheshanam. That's why we look at the vibhakti vachanam and ask the same sort of question. Correct. We will ask kam, we will ask kani, like that only we will ask, right? Because it is a visheshanam. Same thing. Kati and kiyat are also same. Visheshanani. The only special thing about kati is it only has a bahuvachanam form. That's all. Okay. Okay. Then katham. I'll get a separate exercise for us to do it next class when we meet next time. I'll do a separate exercise on that just for us. We'll do it. Okay. Katham is also avyayam format. When we ask katham, what answer do we get? Which vibhakti usually do we get in response? Katham. Katham gacchati.
Tritiya.
Tritiya vibhakti no chet bhavavachaka shabdah. Katham gacchati mandam gacchati. So either bhavavachakam or tritiya vibhakti, you will get katham as a response. Then kutaha. Kutaha is from where. That is also one of the saptakakaras. Kutaha. It is the kasmat, like that. But kutaha is used, when we use kutaha, it is something called a tasil pratyaya. Tasil pratyayas are always avyayanis. Okay. So when we say gramataha agacchati, that gramataha, no matter whether it is 1 grama or many gramas, it will still be gramataha. If it is coming, someone is coming from the nadi, it will be naditaha. We don't change the lingam vachanam vibhakti. It is anytime you add that taha, that tasil pratyaya, it will become an avyayam. Same way, we've added the tasil pratyaya to the question word, and it's become an avyayam kutaha. Okay. And it doesn't matter. If it's kutaha, you can still respond in panchami vibhakti. Okay. You can respond with lingam vachanam vibhakti with panchami vibhakti. Or if you don't want to, you can just say gramataha agatavan. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Have I confused everyone royally, or is everyone okay with it?
No.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Kada, again, Saptami Vibhakti answer, it will be a Samayam. It is Avyayam. We don't change it. Okay. All of these are Visheshanani, but Avyayam means the format doesn't change. Life is easy for us. That's all.
One question. Is there any reason why the numbering is 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7?
That is my mistake.
Huh?
My mistake.
I think Kati and then Kiyat is like push that side. So maybe if you push it this
I
side
made
and
a
put
mistake.
4 for Kiyat.
I made a brilliant mistake. Thank you for catching it.
No, I thought there must be something.
No. This is me going brain dead. That's all.
Kiyat is missing 4. That's all I think.
Yeah. It's supposed to have been 4, and then I went to 5, and then I went to 4 again. I don't know what happened. So don't look at the numbers, okay? Just look at the words right now. Okay. Kutra is the same thing. I don't know the pratyaya for that, but it is avyayam format. It is used for, it can be used for any lingam, vachanam, or vibhakti. Okay. Kutra. Of course, if you use kasmin or something like that, that has to be in the correct vachanam vibhakti format. Okay. But these, if you want to make life easier for yourself, use the avyayam question. The question will never go wrong. Okay. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this one is the kidrisha. We'll ask the question again, we want to get the answer, but here we're practicing with kidrisha shabdaha. We've already used it in our classes. We've used it from the beginning. Let's just quickly go through. Mahodaya
Hina Mahodaya.
Hina Mahodaya, vadatu.
Agnanusari. 1 minute. Agnanusari Ganesha avayati.
Correct.
Kidrisha Ganesha avayati.
Kidrisha. What sort of, what is Ganesha? What is the guna that he has? Agnanusarin nakaranta shabdaha. Agnanusarin ityukte agnya palayati. Sarvada agyam palayati. Saha. So agnanusarin. So agyanusari. Gunin shabdaha will become guni, gunina, guninaha. Same thing. Agyanusari, agyanusarau, agyanusarinaha. Tadrisham. So agyanusari Ganesha. It is in Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Same thing Ganesha also. So it is Kidrisha Ganesha. Very good. Agree.
Okay.
Aham karishyami. Ganeshah chaturam shishum ahvayati. Ganeshah kam kidrisham shishum ahvayati. Chaturam shishum ahvayati.
Very good. The tendency is there to ask kam. Okay. Kam shishum ahvayati. It is not wrong, grammatically speaking, but contextually speaking, you will not get the right answer. So when you see that it is a visheshanam, you should always ask the kidrisham as the question. That's all. Agree.
Hemrani Mahodaya.
गणेशः प्रियेण पित्रा सह शिशुम् आहूयति. गणेशः कीदृशेन पित्रा सह शिशुम् आहूयति.
Can you tell me what it means, this statement? So कीदृशः पिता अस्ति?
प्रियेण पिता.
प्रियः पिता.
Oh.
Beloved father. Priyah pita asti. तेन सह गणेशः आह्वयति तु प्रियेण पित्रा सह गणेशः आह्वयति अवगतं वा
कीदृशेन पित्रा
Yes, you are correct. You had the correct question, but I wanted to make sure you understood the sentence also. That's all.
What is
Avagatam
the
va?
exact meaning?
Pitra goes with Priyena, not with Ganesha.
Mahodaya vadatu. Rajashri Mahodaya, prashnah.
What is the exact meaning? Priyena pitra saha.
Priyah pita asti. Pita asti. Kidrishah pita? Priyah pita. Beloved father.
So when we translate it, what will be the meaning for the sentence?
Ganeshah priyena pitra saha. Priyah pita asti. Tena saha Ganeshah ahvati. With him he called. So together, both of them called together. Adrisham.
So Ganesha calls the child along with his beloved father.
Correct. The child is lost. This is all a story. The child is lost. So first Ganesha, he's very a good boy. He's calling. Who is he calling? He's calling this very smart child. He's calling this child along with his very beloved father. Iti agre asti.
Can we say, Mahodaya? Can we say Ganesha kasmai shishum ahvayati?
Kasmai ityukte kim? Kasmai, what does that mean?
Kasmai will be Chaturthi Vibhakti.
For whom? For whose sake? Who has asked him? That's not what he's doing. He's calling with his father. Correct? Along with his father here.
Rame, yeah, I'm sorry. It is Tritiya Vibhakti.
There is one more thing. If you want to change the context and say, Ganeshah priyena ahvayati, that is also correct. That is not the way I formulated the statement. But you can also see he called lovingly. So, katham ahvayati priyena ahvayati.
Exactly.
But I wanted to use
Kidrishaha. Can't we say that? That was
yes.
what was coming to,
Yes.
Yeah. Katham ahvayati, correct. I agree.
Correct. How did he call? Katham ahvayati priyena ahvayati. Samyak eva. Parantu, here the idea I had behind it was use the Kidrishaha. So the priyena is describing the pitra. So Kidrishena pitra saha. Kidrishaha pita asit, priyaha pita asit. That was what I came with. But priyena ahvayati is also correct. There it is used. See, when we say priyena ahvayati, it is an adverb. Katham ahvayati. That is also correct. But my idea when I did it was a bad sentence. My idea was father is beloved. So he's calling with his beloved father.
Because I was looking at it from that point. That's why.
Yes. I understood later. Yes.
Mahodaya. So this particular thing that priyena is describing the father.
That's why I went back to Prathama Vibhakti. See, when I asked if you're getting confused, you go Kidrishaha pita.
Okay. Pitra is the Tritiya for in pita word. Okay.
Kidrishaha pita, priyaha pita. Kena saha pitra saha. Kidrishena pitra saha. Priyena pitra saha.
Correct. Okay.
Even if it is an adverb, the same question we can ask, is it?
Yes, but for an adverb, you will not ask kena. For an adverb, you usually ask katham.
Katham,
Better context. The better question to ask for an adverb. Katham chalati, mandam chalati. You will not ask kena chalati. For mandam chalati, that answer, you will not ask kena chalati. You will ask katham chalati.
Okay.
It makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay. Always, Sanskrit is, when you look in the kosha, one word has like a million meanings. Only because what happens is, like Anuradha Mahodaya said with upa, that one word is actually, you get the general sense of the word and then you put it in context. It always has to be in context. Correct. So that's why there are a million meanings. It's not because Sanskrit is not specific. Sanskrit is the most specific language possible. It is specific in the context. Like that. Okay. Agree. Mahodaya? Ka?
Rajashri Mahadeva.
Tasyaha sahasakarine bhratre.
Ayyo, again I made mistake. Sorry. Very sorry. Bhratre. Where is it? Sorry. वदतु।
गणेशः साहसकारिणे भ्रात्रे पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति। गणेशः कीदृशाय भ्रात्रे पित्रा सह शिशुम् आह्वयति।
सम्यक्। भ्रातः कीदृशः भ्रातः? साहसकारी भ्रातः अस्ति। तु साहसकारिणे भ्रात्रे तस्य कृते एव गणेशः आह्वयति। अवगतं वा सर्वे? एव्रिबडी अंडरस्टैंड?
Can you repeat that last sentence again?
सो भ्रातः अस्ति। कीदृशः भ्रातः अस्ति? सः भ्राता अस्ति, क्षम्यतां, भ्राता अस्ति। कीदृशः भ्राता? साहसकारी भ्राता अस्ति। ही इज केपेबल। साहसकारी भ्राता अस्ति। इदानीं गणेशः आह्वयति। किमर्थम् आह्वयति? यतः भ्राता तु उक्तवान् आह्वयतु इति उक्तवान्। तो तस्य कृते गणेशः आह्वयति for his sake, for the brother's sake. So गणेशः भ्रात्रे आह्वयति। गणेशः साहसकारिणे भ्रात्रे आह्वयति।
Okay. Rajeshri Mohoday asked what question? I missed that.
कीदृशाय.
Okay.
Because कीदृशः भ्राता, right? So चतुर्थी विभक्ति कीदृशाय भ्रात्रे.
Yeah. See, the problem for myself is, see, I don't know. Bhratra is a Rukaranta Pullinga word.
Correct.
I confuse it as Saptami Vibhakti Ekavachana.
Correct.
So
that is what we all do. Not only you. Everybody will do that. I will do that. When I'm reading now, I will do that. So when we look at it and we say, okay, even this Sahasakarine is also looking like Saptami Vibhakti, Bhratre is also looking like Saptami Vibhakti. But how can he go and do in Bhratre? How can he call Ahvayati in Bhratre? That doesn't make sense. So something is wrong here. So we do Vishleshanam.
Okay. So you have to...
Nothing comes easily.
Yeah, you have to understand the meaning of the word, the meaning of the sentence.
Yes. Because again, artham upayujya eva sanskritam avagantum shaknumaha. It is all contextual. Correct.
Okay.
So, but when we go to shlokas and all that, sometimes it's harder. So we go to shloka and veha. We're not. I read shlokas, at least for me. You see, Haraprasad Mahodaya, you've been listening to probably, and all of you have been, Vijay Mahodaya, you've been listening to Jayakumar Mahodaya, giving the tatparyams of all the different shlokas and all that. So actually, you will find it easier than me to understand some of these things. So you work backwards. I know the meaning of this. I know what it should mean. So this cannot be Saptami here. Correct. You are actually one step ahead. You know that what it should be. So you work backwards from there and you try and make sense. Then you go to the grammatical formulation and you figure it out. That's all it is. No problem. We'll keep moving. We'll keep doing abhyasa. We'll get it. Sometime or the other it will come. There's no chance that it won't come if we keep going. Okay? Agre gachamah. Agre ka.
Haraprasad Mahoday.
Okay.
Bhavatyah counting 1, 2, 3, 5, 4.
Yes, again, very good.
It is new maths.
Yes, completely.
Okay. Ganeshaha Vishalat Prakoshtat Brate Pitra Saha Shishum Ahvayati. Again, here, I can say Prakoshtaha. So it is Kasmat.
Prakoshta Kasmat Uttare Tatra Prakoshtat iti bhavati.
Yeah.
Idanim Vishalat iti param bhutavyam chet katham prashtavyam tatra.
Okay, Vikatam Vishalat Kutaha?
Idanim chintayatu Prakoshtaha asti.
Yeah.
Okay. Vishalah prakoshtah asti.
Yeah.
What question can you ask to prakoshtah to get the answer Vishalah?
What size? Kim, I can ask the same thing. Kiyat.
No.
Kidrishaha. What type?
No, Vishala is.
You're not asking how much. How much is the room? That doesn't make sense, Kalu. You can't say how much is the room, but you can say what type of room is it?
Yeah. What type? What Kidrisha?
Kidrishaha prakoshtah. So idanim vishalat prakoshthat ahvayati chet?
Kidrishat prakoshthat.
Kidrisha. So the Kidrisha shabdaha, you have to ask the namapadam because it is a sambandham there. Just like the Shashti Vibhakti, the Visheshanam is there is a relationship with the namapadam. So you have to ask the correct namapadam. So Kidrishat prakoshtat Ganeshaha ahvayati.
Yeah.
Vishalat prakoshtat Ganeshaha ahvayati. Did that make sense?
Correct. It does.
Okay, agree.
Hina Mahoday.
गणेशः सायंकाले कार्यक्रम समये प्रकोष्ठात् भ्रात्रार्थ पित्रा सह शिशुम् आवायति.
This is a bad statement to ask this question. Easily, if you just ask kada, you'll get the answer. Sayankale is kada. But I want to say that Sayankalaha is a descriptive word for the Karyakrama Samaya. Okay, so you're using Kidrishaha. Can you do that?
गणेशः कीदृशे समये.
That's it. कीदृशे कार्यक्रम समये. Sayankale कार्यक्रम समये. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you say kada samaye?
You can say kada without samaye.
Yeah.
Say kada, it is Sayankale.
Yeah. Can we say Ganeshaha kada
Ahvayati.
kada Karyakrama samaye prakoshtat Bratchatham pitra sah shishum ahvayati.
Okay, now think about what you're asking. You're saying Ganeshaha
What
kada,
time?
at what time? At the time of the Karyakrama Samayam did he call? So you see the question is a little redundant over there. At what time at the time of the Karyakrama Samayam? You can't ask.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? You can say kada ahvayati, then you can have two answers. Sayankale Karyakrama Samaye, no problem. But here that Sayankale I used as a descriptive word for that the Karyakrama happened in the evening.
So if the Karyakram is happening 2 or 3 times in a day, we can say this is the evening program.
Correct. So Kidrishe Karyakrama Samaye. Yes, correct. Very good. It's actually a bad statement, but it's okay. We understand the context, right? We understand what I'm trying to get to. Okay. All right. So then last one. Mahodaya?
Vijay Mahoday.
Ganeshah Karyakram Samaye Cheshtaloha Ramasya Prakoshtat Bhatrartham Pitra Saha Shishumavyati. Okay.
Vijay Mahoday always
Get the hard one.
even in Abhyasa Varga also he will get only the longest one.
Okay, now you tell me that Cheshta Loho, which word does it resemble?
Cheshtaloho. It resembles Yoho, that Vidya, I think.
Does it? Think about it. First of all, what is it describing?
Vivachana, I think. No?
What is it describing?
Cheshtaloho Ramasya. Ramasya means Rama, is it?
So Kidrishaha Ramaha asti.
Kidrisha so Kidrish Ramasya. Kidrishasya Ramasya, is it?
Samyak. So this is Shashti Ekavachanam. But first you answer my question. You tell me what is the Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam form of this. You can guess it. I know you can. Kidrishaha Ramaha asti. Use that word. Cheshta Loho. What does it sound like?
Cheshta Loho. No, I don't know what that word is. Okay, I can guess. Cheshta laha. Is it cheshta?
Will cheshtalaha become cheshtaloho in Shashti Ekavachanam?
No.
Will it be akaranta?
Think
If it is akaranta, it
potato,
will become
Mahoday.
cheshtalasya.
No.
What goes as guroho?
Oh, okay.
Huh? You were thinking Dvivachanam because Rama yoho. Yoho
Rama
or voho
Yoho.
will
Yeah,
come.
I was thinking Rama Yoho. Yes.
Ah, but yoho and voho are not there, Kalu. So this is Ekavachanam. Ramasya Ekavachanam. So this is cheshtalu.
Oh.
चेष्टालुः रामः अस्ति चेष्टालोः रामस्य प्रकोष्ठः अस्ति
Oh, Guroho.
I don't make it easy for you guys, okay? And I don't think I'll ever make it easy for you guys. I'm sorry, but as we see more of this, you guys will become patuhus. So
Okay, so Cheshtalu is what? What is it?
you tell me what is cheshtalu? Sah cheshtalu asti. Naughty.
Oh.
Cheste.
चेष्टां करोति बहु अधिकतया चेष्टां करोति तदेव अवगतं वा?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So now we did this. Give me a second. I don't even remember what this. Okay. So now before we go into this, so we understand now. Do we understand why I went into those two abhyasas? We took a long time. We took 1 hour to do those two abhyasas, but it is worth it because when we do akanksha kramena anvayaha, we have to make sure we ask the correct question. So knowing the question is very important. Knowing the format of the question, knowing what question to ask and which vibhakti. Now those question words itself are visheshanami. So you have to make sure you understand it is the visheshanam for which word, correct? It is in what vibhakti vachanam, and you have to get the correct rupam based on that. That's why we went into those abhyasas for that long. Okay. So when you do akanksha kramena anvayaha, life will become quite easy actually. So when we go into this, suppose we go and do this one. Okay, let's do this. Akanksha kramena prashna dvara etesham vakyanam anvayachanam karotu. Actually, they had done it in the other classes. Let's do it quickly and see if we can get it through. Next one, Agreka.
Anuradha Mahoday.
Anuradha Mahoday. So first, akanksha kramena, what is the first thing we have to do for getting anvayaha, Mahodaya?
क्रियापदं
प्रारम्भं करोतु.
अकरोत् इति क्रियापदम्. अयोध्याः नृपः दशरथः पत्नीभिः सह पुत्रकामेष्टियागम् अकरोत्. ओके, क्रियापदम् अकरोत्. कः अकरोत्? दशरथः अकरोत्. कीदृशः दशरथः? नृपः. कस्याः नृपः? अयोध्याः नृपः. केभिः सह, काभिः सह? पत्नीभिः सह पुत्रकामेष्टि यागं किं अकरोत्? पुत्रकामेष्टि यागम् अकरोत्.
उत्तमं, तदेव अस्ति. So you asked each question based off of the vibhakti and you got it. So the only difference that I would suggest is you go based off of your first, second, third, fourth vibhakti tadrisham. So first you go akarot, then you go kaha akarot, dasharatha akarot, kidrishaha dasharatha, nripaha dasharatha. Then dvitiya vibhakti. Kim akarot? Putra kameshti yagam. There it is a samasta padam. Putra kama ishta yagam. So because he is wanting to have, he has that kamam for sons. From that he is doing the yagam. Putra kama ishta yagam. Putra kami ishti yagam. Tatra that is dvitiya vibhakti. Then tritiya vibhakti kabhihi saha, patnibhihi saha. Then षष्ठी विभक्ति अयोध्यायाः कस्याः तदेव बहु सम्यक् रीत्या कृतवती. So when you respond, when you rewrite the sentence also, you'll do the same thing. You'll put prathama vibhakti first, you'll do the verb kriya padam right at the end, and you'll go second, third, fourth in that order in the middle. When you put the visheshanam before the visheshyam. So when you say anvaya kramena yada vayam we rewrite this sentence, you'll go नृपः दशरथः पुत्रकामेष्टि यागं पत्नीभिः सह
अकरोत्.
Oh, we did it wrong. अयोध्यायाः कः? कस्याः नृपः?
See, I take you so literally.
It is Shashti, it is not a karakam. So अयोध्यायाः नृपः दशरथः पुत्रकामेष्टि यागं पत्नीभिः सह अकरोत्.
Okay.
Okay,
So
brilliant.
that Shashti will come in the beginning.
Because that Shashti is associated with Nripaha.
Okay.
So that Shashti will come with whatever Namapadam it is associated with.
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
following you to the T.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
No. I myself, I'm
Common.
laughing at myself.
No, very common. I'll say lots of nonsense. So your guys' job to correct me.
No,
Okay,
no, nothing
Agreka.
like that. Mhm.
अहं करोमि.
Akarotu.
पुत्रकामेष्टि यागात् चत्वारः शिशवः जन्मं प्राप्तवन्तः. क्रियापदं सूचयति प्राप्तवन्तः इति.
धन्यवादः. सूचयति. किमर्थं सूचयति? किमर्थं क्रियापदं नास्ति?
तत् विशेषणमस्ति, क्रियापदं नास्ति.
सम्यक्. कस्य पदस्य विशेषणमस्ति?
प्राप्तवन्तः शिशवः प्राप्तवन्तः.
सम्यक्.
कः प्राप्तवन्तः और कः प्राप्तवन्तः? शिशवः प्राप्तवन्तः. But it is a कीदृश, sorry.
There is something wrong there. Thank you. See, you caught it. Because of your question, we caught the incorrect thing. Let's ask that question. Praptavantah. Okay. Kaha praptavantah? Shishavaha praptavantah. Shishavaha. So kaha Shishavaha kam praptavantah?
शिशवः. So
it's correct. Sentence is correct.
प्राप्तवन्तः. My question is wrong. कः न के
प्राप्तवन्तः.
के प्राप्तवन्तः. शिशवः प्राप्तवन्तः. कं प्राप्तवन्तः? जन्मं प्राप्तवन्तः.
कं प्राप्तवन्तः वा किं प्राप्तवन्तः वा?
किं प्राप्तवन्तः. क्षम्यताम्.
No.
किं प्राप्तवन्तः? जन्मं प्राप्तवन्तः. कीदृशः शिशवः? कीदृशे. चत्वारः कति वा?
Kati also is perfect. Yes. But it is also a visheshanam. You're right. So it can be kidrishe or it can be kati. But go with kati because it makes more sense.
Why it is kidrishe?
Is it kidrishaha or kidrishe? What is it? Does anybody remember?
Drishe, because Bahuvachana. This is Shishu, which becomes
Pullingam.
Shishavaha. Okay, so Bahuvachana.
Correct. So kidrishaha, kidrishau, kidrishe. Just like kaha kauke.
Okay.
कीदृशे शिशवः.
Is it? That's what even my question is. Is
No,
it kidrishaha, kidrishe or kidrishaha?
Ramaha, right?
Oh, correct.
Yes. Is it? That's the problem. Is it a
कीदृशाः?
is it?
Because कीदृशे will be saptami. No? कीदृशाः.
Kidrishe will be saptami. But is it used? The problem is, is it going to be coming as used in the kahakauke format? Is it a sarvanama or is it a this thing? That is the question. It is kidrishaha. Kidrishaha. Thank you. Yes, kidrishaha. So it is not used in the sarvanama format. It's not used in the pronoun format. Kahakauke. It is used in the ramaha, ramau, ramaha format. Kidrisha. Okay.
कीदृशाः शिशवः? चत्वारः शिशवः. Otherwise, कति शिशवः? चत्वारः शिशवः. कस्मात्?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you finish. I'll just ask.
Okay. कस्मात् चत्वारः शिशवः जन्मं प्राप्तवन्तः? पुत्रकामेष्टि यागात्. चत्वारः.
Samyak. So now the question arises, which questions can you ask to the only the Kriya Padam and which questions do you have to ask to the Nama Padam? So praptavantaha, ke praptavantaha, shishavaha praptavantaha, kim praptavantaha, janmam praptavantaha. You can literally ask one word like that, one extra word. Kim praptavantaha, janmam praptavantaha, kasmat praptavantaha, putra kameshti yagat praptavantaha. And then you have to say kati shishavaha, chattvaraha shishavaha. Is my internet connection gone?
No, no.
Oh, no.
We can hear you.
We can hear it.
Okay, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
We can hear you.
So did that make sense? I know that the tendency is to say kasmat chatvarah shishavah janmam praptavantah. You don't have to do that. You can just say kasmat praptavantah. Putra kameshti yagat praptavantah. Okay. Anuradha Mahodaya, you had a question?
I also
No,
have.
you said Sarvanama Prayogam is not there. Kaha, Kauke, and Kidrishaha, Kridrishav, Kridrishe. It's the same thing, no?
No,
no,
it
it's
is
not
not
this
used in Sarvanama format. It is used as Ramaha Ramau Rama.
Ramaharam.
Oh, okay.
Even I got confused there. That's why
No,
I went on.
I don't understand the confusion actually.
Oh, so because Kidrishaha is used, it's sort of like when we ask the question, it is sort of like, you know, the Kahakauke. I was wondering, is it Kidrishaha, Kidrishav, Kidrishe, like that? Like a Sarvanama, Sahataute, Tadrisham.
Okay.
But it is not. It is used just as a normal Akaranta Pullinga format.
Okay,
Because, because Kim is like Makaranta pulling, like that will come, no?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all.
I have one question.
But
This in the beginning when Preeti Mahodaya said Praptavantaha is Suchi or something about Kriya.
okay, I'll tell you. It is not a Kriya Padam by itself because is it a Lakara?
No.
No. Okay.
Not
Tell me what is the Dhatu there?
Prapta is it? Or
Prapnoti. Apnoti with the Upasarga pra. So Prapnoti will be the Latlakara form.
okay.
Here this is in Praptavantaha means it is Bhutakala Bahuvachanam. Correct?
Yes.
If we want to do it in a Lakara format, what will it be?
Bhutakala means
Apnoti. It's a little hard, this one. Because it is apnoti, like that. It is. Suppose, so in Bhutakala, if we do it, so suppose I go in, suppose here, okay, I'll go into Ashtadhyayi. It will be easy for us to just quickly look at it. Suppose I go into Ashtadhyayi and we go into apnoti. Okay.
Prapnoti, right?
Yeah, but in Ashtadhyayi, you can't do prapnoti, so you'll do apnoti. Okay. I forgot what it is in Langlakara. If anybody remembers, please tell me. Langlakara. Here it is.
Prapnuvan, right?
Prapnuvan. That's what it would be in Langlakara Bahuvachanam.
Oh.
But in our exercise, it is not Prapnuvan. It is Praptavantaha.
That's, yeah, we did something about Praptavati and
Tavatu
Praptavan.
pratyaya.
This is a Tavatu Pratyaya. It changes based on Linga, Vachanam and Vibhakti.
Correct.
Which means, is it a Kriya Padam or is it a Nama Padam?
Namapadam.
It is a Nama Padam. It is a
So it
Nama
is
Padam
like
because it
an,
is describing the state of the Shishavaha. Shishavaha, Kidrishaha Shishavaha Santi. It is an adjective. Kidrishaha Shishavaha Santi. Praptavantaha Shishavaha Santi. They are in the state of having gotten it. Asan. This is Bhutakala. So, Kidrishaha Shishavaha Praptavantaha Shishavaha Asan. Kim Praptavantaha Shishavaha? Janmam Praptavaha Shishavaha Asan. The Kriya Padam there is Adhyahritam. It is Asan. It is always usually Asti or Bhavati there.
Okay.
But you will do more in-depth work with this when you go to Shiksha.
Okay.
At this point in time, your job is to know this is not a Lakara. This is only a Namapadam. If it is a Namapadam, it has a Lingam Vachana Vibhakti. If it has a Lingam Vachana Vibhakti, then in Sanskritam, that Lingam Vachana Vibhakti is matching with another, so it is a Visheshanam.
So it is like it will go like a Bhagwan, Bhagwantau, Bhagwantaha, like that.
Yes. This is Praptavat is the Takaranta. It is a Takaranta Shabdaha. Praptavat Shabdaha. Praptavan, Praptavantau, Praptavantaha.
Okay.
Bhagavan,
Bhavat.
Bhagavantaha. Hello?
Yeah.
You know
But
that.
for us to get the Anvaya,
Use the Kriya Suchaka Padam.
Suchaka.
What is pointing to the verb,
Yeah.
the action?
Okay. So we'll ask the
Suchayati.
question to Praptavanta only. Okay.
Yes, yes. Because it is pointing to the action.
Okay.
But we have to be clear in that it is not a Kriya Padam.
No,
It is a
that's
Kriya Suchaka Padam. That is all.
Mahodaya,
Ah.
is it necessary when it ends in a Savatu Pratyaya to supply a verbal form?
To supply that Asti, Asan, that thing.
Correct.
Now, if you go into your Parichaya textbook, you will see there is an Anuvada Paddhatihi that we will go through later. We will go through it and it will tell you how to use that verbal form to make your sentence more clear. So suppose I say, Chatvaraha Shishavaha Praptavantaha Santi. Suppose I use Santi in present tense. Then what does it mean? It means 4 kids, 4 children have just gotten born, have just received the state of being born.
Yeah.
If I say Asan, Chatvaraha Shishavaha Janmam Praptavantaha Asan, they had received the state of being born.
Yeah.
So that verb end in that Asan or Santi,
Yeah.
it will actually tell you exactly when.
Correct.
You can make it crystal clear as to when. But for
Correct.
us, because we have not got into that yet, we will just go with leave it as Adyahritam. But know that the Lakara form, even if it is not there, it is actually present. Because every Sanskrite kimapi vakyam asti chet Lakaram avashyakam eva. Lakaraha avashyakaha eva. There has to be something that is in with a Lakara format. It might be Adyahritam, but it is there. So just because it is Praptavantaha doesn't mean that there is no Lakara. There is a Lakara form.
Avagatam. My question is, if it ends in Savatu Pratyaya, do we have to supply the verb at the end?
Not
just,
no.
Not necessary.
No.
Okay.
Suchak is there. Suchak is good.
Just know it. You have to know it.
Just know it. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
That it is a Kriya Suchaka Padam, not a Kriya Padam. That's
Okay.
it. All right. Next one.
Oh. Hemrani Mahoday.
Astu. Rama Lakshmanau Yagya Rakshanartham Vishwamitrena Saha Vanam Gattavantau.
Kriya Suchaka Padam.
Suchayati Gattavantau.
Samyak. Now ask the questions.
Kau Gattavantaha
Gatavantau.
Rama Lakshmanau.
Agree.
Kimartham.
Yes.
Kimartham Rama
Kimartham
Lakshmanau
Gatavantau.
Yagya Rakshanartham Gantavantau.
Samyak.
Kena Saha Rama Lakshmanau Kena Saha Vanam Gattavantau. Vishwamitrena Saha Vanam Gattavantau.
Just ask simple. Kena Saha Gatavantau. Vishwamitrena Saha Gatavantau. Because Vanam, you haven't asked the question yet. So don't use that in your question. Agree.
Okay.
Vanam.
Kutra Gatavantau. Vanam Gatavantau.
Very good. Kutra Gatavantau, Vanam Gatavantau. Now, Kutra, usually our response will be Saptami Vibhakti. How come we're getting it in Dvitiya?
For Gatavantau.
Gum.
Correct.
For the
Correct.
gam dhatu.
Gatavachaka Shabdanam, Tatra, you will only get it in Dvitiya Vibhakti. You can also get it in one other format. What other format can we get if it is Gam Dhatu?
Chaturthi.
Chaturthi Vibhakti. Vanaya Gatavantau api Samyak. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
So it
Gam
is
Dhatu,
7 and 4. Okay. Chaturthi and
second
Saptami.
and fourth. So for gam dhatu, you can have either dvitiya vibhakti or chaturthi vibhakti. Very good. Okay. Now, I am not going to continue with this exercise. We'll do it again coming next class. Before we go, I just want to quickly give you this shlokasya anvaya rachana. Tatra kim bhavati iti aham kinchit vadami. Nanim, we did Vakyanam Anvaya Rachana. It was quite simple to do. We saw, okay, this is in this vibhakti, this is in this. I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to get the answer. And I can put it in the right format by doing Visheshanam, Visheshyam. I can do it by doing Prathama Vibhakti and Kriya Padam and the others in the middle. I know what to do. Okay. But when it comes to your shlokas, first of all, one big problem is usually in the shlokas because they have to follow the vritti, they have to follow the meter. You will have lots of samasta padams. So getting the artham there itself is one big headache. Okay. Because we are not at that level where we can easily get the arthams. But we have people like, Vijay Mahodaya, Haraprasad Mahodaya, who have listened to a lot of Vyakhyanam. They get the meaning. Preeti Mahodaya is also there. She's read a lot. So we can ask people and get the meaning. Otherwise, Paricha book is always there. You'll get the meaning from that. That's not a problem. So, but our job at this level, what we have to do is we have to take each word, find the vibhakti, and then do the same anvaya questioning to the kriya padam and get the answers and then put it in the correct format so that it makes sense for us. Okay, when we reread it, when it makes sense for us. So, idanim yadi aham vadami vasudeva sutam devam kamsa chanura mardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagat gurum iti asti. Sarve vayam janimah. We all know this. Hello. Atrato, even in this one, it becomes life is easier also because the Kriya Padam is also easy to see. What is the Kriya Padam here? Someone tell me.
Vande.
Vande.
Vande. Vande. What is the Purusha Vachanam of that?
Uttama Purusha.
Prathama Purusha. Uttama Purusha, I think.
Ekavachan.
Aham.
Aham Vande. So we can clearly see aham is missing. Aham Vande. Now look at all the other words. Vasudeva Sutam. Now it is not our job at this level to break up the words into Vasudeva Sutam because Vasudeva does not have. Can you see that there is no vibhakti form there? Vasudeva. It is a pratipadikam by itself. It is not Vasudevasya Sutam. So it is not two words. It is one word. Vasudeva Sutam. Okay. Vasudeva Sutam is one word. Devam is one word. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam is one word. Devaki Paramanandam is one word. Okay. Krishnam is one word. Jagat Gurum is one word. What is the vibhakti of all these words?
All Dvitiya.
What is the Vachanam? Ekavachanam. What does that mean? If they're all Dvitiya Ekavachanam, what does it mean?
Visheshan.
Visheshan of
One
one
is
of
a
the
Visheshyam.
one of the Visheshan.
Everything else is Visheshanam for that Visheshyam. We can decide which one is going to be the Visheshyam here. Is easy Visheshyam there.
Krishnam.
Krishna. So Krishna asti. Kidrishaha Krishna asti. Prathamam. Kidrishaha Krishna asti. Krishna.
Vasudeva
Sutam.
Vasudeva Sutaha Krishna. Devaha Krishna.
Kamsa Chanura Mardanaha Krishna.
Kamsa Chanura Mardanaha Krishna.
Madyanam.
Devaki Paramanandaha
Krishna.
Jagat Guru.
Jagat Guru Krishna. Sarvam. Tam aham vande. Krishna asti. Vasudeva Sutaha Krishna. Devaha Krishna. Kamsa Chanura Mardanaha Krishna. Devaki Paramanandaha Krishna. Jagat Guru Krishna. Tam aham vande. Ityeva asti atra. Okay. So how do you do the Anvaya Rachana for this? You first do this thing called Padachedaha. So you break up the words, each word by itself. Now the thing when we do this, there will be sandhi. So when we go into other shlokas, I will show you the sandhi, how it is broken up. We'll go into the rules of the sandhi also. But we can logically understand what sandhi is happening here. So idanim Vasudeva Sutam, there is no sandhi. It is one word over there because there is no breakup of two vibhaktis over there. So Vasudeva Sutam is one word. Devam, Kamsa Chanura Mardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam, Vande, Jagat Gurum. Everybody understands how to do the Padachedaha? See the different words? You will not understand yet because I have not shown you an example with sandhi. Okay, I'll show you in the next class what happens when there is sandhi. But right now it is very simple. Each word for itself. Agre kim bhavati vyakaranamshaha. So we know this. Pada vivaranam katham karaniyam iti. So I'm going fast because we only have 10 minutes left. So Vasudeva Sutam. Tatra we know it is Vasudeva Sutaha in Prathama Vibhakti. Because this is in Dvitiya Vibhakti, we know it is Sutaha in Prathama Vibhakti. So it is Akaranta Pullingaha, Vasudeva Suta Shabdaha, Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Correct? Yeah. Same thing. Devam. This is a Akaranta Pullinga Deva Shabdaha, Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. Same thing. Akaranta. Why is it the same thing? Because they're all Visheshanani. Correct. The only thing you have to be careful about is what is the ending. So Akaranta Pullingaha Kamsa Chanura Shabdaha Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
Shouldn't be Kamsa Chanura Mardana Shabdaha?
In Prathama Vibhakti. Prathama Vibhakti in Ekavachanam, it will become Kamsa Chanura Mardanaha. Mardanaha.
Now, what Shabda is it?
Oh, there is not written properly. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Mardana. Thank you. Yes. Good catch. Okay. Devaki Paramanandam. That is Devaki Paramananda Shabdaha Akaranta Pullingaha Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Krishnam. You all know Krishnaha. Akaranta Pullingaha Krishna Shabdaha Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Vande. That is our only Lakara. Lat Lakare Asti. Uttama Purushaha Ekavachanam. Atmanepadi Dhatu Asti. Vand Dhatu. Jagadgurum Tatra Ukaranta Pullingaha Jagadguru Shabdaha Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. We know how to do this. We've done Pada Vivaranam separately. So this is our second step to do the Pada Vivaranam. We can do it in any order. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes most sense to you, you do it in that order. This is the sense. This is how I make sense of it. So I'm showing it to you in this order. Okay. Because what I want to do is I first want to see what are all the Vibhaktis of the Shabdas. Then I want to know what is the meaning of each Shabda. Then I can put it together and find the total meaning of the sentence. Right. So here Vasudeva Sutam. Now in the exam, when you do it, you will do this in English. Don't muck up in Sanskritam. Do it in English because Paricha Sthare, you are only expected to do it in English. Okay. So if you're confused here and there, don't worry about it. Just do it in English. If you can do it in Sanskritam, go for it. They will not mark it wrong. Okay. So atra kim asti Vasudeva Sutam asti. We know that it is Vasudevasya Putram. Dvitiya Vibhaktya. If it is in Prathama Vibhakti, Vasudevasya Putraha. But here Vasudeva Sutam, so Vasudevasya Putram. Prati Padarthaha, Prati Padasya Arthaha. Devam ityukte Bhagavan. Devaha ityukte Bhagavan. Devam Bhagavantam. Dvitiya Vibhaktya. Bhagavat Shabdaha Bhagavantam. Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. Kopi asti. Kamsasya Chanurasya cha yaha Maritavan tam aham vande. You understand what I said?
Yeah.
Krishna asti. Saha kim kritavan? Saha Maritavan. Saha kam Maritavan. It's not Shashti Vibhakti. It is Kamsam Chanuram. Kalu? My brain is not working. Kamsam Chanuram. Kamsam Chanuram. Cha yaha Maritavan. Tam aham vande. So I couldn't put all of this into Dvitiya Vibhakti, so I put it as a yaha and then said tam, because you know how you can say yaha asti tam aham vande. That is allowed. So that's what I did. That's what I used here. What you can do if you're doing it in English, the killer of Kamsa and Chanura. That's it. Devaki Paramanandam. Devakyai ativa anandam yaha dadati. Yaha yachati. Saha. So tam aham vande. Devakyai ativa anandam yaha yachati. Tam vande. Krishnam Gopalam. Aham vande. Aham is, what is the word aham? How do we say it? What type of word is it?
Aham.
Adhyahara.
Adhyahara Shabda asti. So Adhyahritam. Adhyahritam. Aham.
Yeah, correct.
Aham vande. So the equivalent of that is aham namami. Why are we doing it in Sanskritam? Because we want our Shabda Kosha to be as big as possible. So if we can translate from Sanskritam to Sanskritam, our understanding, our Bhasha Kaushalyam will be better. If you cannot do it in English. But because I had the time and I was able to do it, I sat and did it in Sanskritam. Okay?
But this, sorry.
Okay. Go ahead, Vijay.
This aham, you said something, it is some special thing.
Adhyahara Padamasti. It is an implied word. It is not there in the
It's
original
not
story.
there. Okay, implied. Okay, got it.
Okay. So aham namami.
Mahoday,
Ah.
now you use for Devaki Paramanandam, Devaki Ativa Anandam Yaha Yachati Tam. Instead of tam, can we use sa? You have used yaha. When you use yaha, we have to use either saha or sa or tat.
No. Why? Because that is the speciality about the yaha, how you mix it. So ekaha asti, Krishnaha asti, saha kim karoti, saha ativa anandam dadati. Kasyai dadati, devakyai dadati. So Krishnaha asti, saha ativa anandam devakyai dadati. You understand that? Yes?
Yeah.
Aham tam Krishnam namami. Aham namami. Aham kam namami? Tam namami. Yaha devakyai anandam yachati, tam aham namami.
Okay.
So that you are saying tam is that Krishna, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. The one who gives Ananda to Devaki, to that Krishna, Aham Namami.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Jagat Gurum Vishwalokasya Natham Yaha asti tam aham namami. It was easy for me to do this in Dvitiya Vibhakti. Putram, Bhagavantam, Natham, Gopalam. But this Yaha Maritavan, Yaha Yachati, all that it is, if I had put Yam Maritavan, Yam Yachati, it wouldn't make as much sense. So Yaha Maritavan, tam aham namami. That's all. Okay. Don't worry, you do it in English right now. Just get exposure to it. As you get more and more exposure to it, you will also be able to do it. That's all it is. Okay. Samanyartha Tatparyam. So once you know each of the words' meanings, then it's easy to put the Tatparyam together, the meaning together. We'll know it. What is it? I venerate. Who do I venerate? I venerate Krishna. I venerate what sort of Krishna? I venerate Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva, who is the divine God, who is the killer of Kamsa and Chanura, who is the one who gives excessive happiness to Devaki, who is the leader, the teacher of the whole universe. I venerate that Krishna. Iti asti. Tatparyam. Easy. Once you put each word, once you take and you find the meaning, to put the meaning to that sentence is easy. Getting those pratipadartha right now at our stage for the harder shlokas is going to be difficult. So what happens is you go backwards. You when you listen to Jayakumar Mahodaya, you know the meaning. Then you take those words and then you see if you can associate each word and the vibhakti to those English words that you know. That's
so,
all.
Mahodaya, in this particular sentence, that okay, in Parichaya we can write it in English, but if you were to write, you can write this also in full Sanskrita, different.
I'll show you. Okay. So now Vakya Vishleshanam. We know how to do this. Vande, aham vande, kaha vande, aham vande. Then you've got your Dvitiya Vibhakti words. All of these are Visheshanani. Okay. Now you've got your normal Anvaya Rachana. How do you do it? Kriya Padam vande, kaha vande, aham vande. Kam vande, Krishnam vande. Kidrisham Vasudeva Sutam. Punaha Kidrisham Devam. Punaha Kidrisham Kamsa Chanura Mardanam. Punaha Kidrisham Devaki Paramanandam. Punaha Kidrisham Jagadgurum. Beauty of Sanskrit. How many different ways, just by using Visheshanani, they've created this entire story. So now Anvaya Kramaha, we've done it. So we put it together. Aham Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande. So far, easy. Now Tatparyam. We've done the Pratipadartha in Sanskrit. So when we want to do Anvayartha, I'm going back to that Pratipadartha. I'm saying Aham Vasudevasya Putram. Vasudeva Sutam Vasudevasya Putram. Bhagavantam. We've done that already, right?
Yes.
Bhagavantam. Kamsam Chanuram cha yaha maritavan tam. I made a mistake there. Remember, it's not Kamsasya Chanurasya. Devakyai ativa anandam yaha yachati tam. Vishwalokasya natham gopalam namami. So we've done it in Sanskrit. Using the Pratipadartha that we did in Sanskrit, you just rewrite it using those same
in that order.
meanings. That's all. It becomes simple. if you do that Pratipadartha in Sanskrit, doing the Anvayartha in Sanskrit also becomes very easy.
Okay.
That's all it is. Okay. So your format then will be do your Padacheda, break it up. Now, again, as I said, if you can do this, get the Vyakaranamsha, Pratipadartha. If it's easy enough to do it, do those first. If it is harder, do the Samanyartha first, because it's given to you in the book, the original meaning. Then use the Samanyartha to then get the Pratipadartha. Right? So the order of Pratipadartha and Samanyartha can be mixed. If the Samanyartha is easier, do the Samanyartha first. From that, get each of the word meanings. But if you can do each of the word meanings first, do that first, because it's easier then for us. There is no chance of you're reading someone else's translation and there might have been something mixed up or something like that. If we can do it on our own, better for us. But if it's hard, to get the Vyakhyanam from the book first and then work on the Pratipadartha. Vakya Visheshanam, after that, you do each padam, you do Pada Vivaranam over there. Then you go into your Akanksha Kramena Anvayaha. And then finally, you find your Anvayartha. Okay. So you will have, this is going to be in homework. This is there in the slides, this Udyamena hi Siddhyanti. I'm sorry, have I gone ahead late? Sorry.
No,
So then there is, okay. So there is one more example here. Udyamena hi Siddhyanti karyani na manorathaihi na suptasya simhasya mukhe pravishanti murgaha. Subhashitam, we've read this in Pravesha, is it, Mahodaya?
Yes, we have.
No, it is there in Pravesha. Okay. So I'll just, don't fall asleep. Just quickly, I'll just go through it. And so you have an idea about how it's done. Just one more example. So over here we've got, first thing we do is Padachedaha. So Vijay Mahodaya, do you want to do, or who can do the Padachedaha quickly?
Padacheda I can do. That is
do. Tell me.
Udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani na or na manorataihi na suptasya simhasya mukhe pravishyanti mrigaha.
Samyak. So this one, there is no sandhi, there is no mix up of words, nothing. In fact, there is no samastapadam also. It is except manorathaihi. That is the only one where there is a samastapadam. But even that we can understand. The ratham of the manaha, that is the manoratha, right? The dream chariot, that sort of thing, the chariot of the mind, the adrisham. So here you did the Padacheda beautifully. So that's it. That's the Padacheda. Then we go on to, there is no sandhi happening here. So we'll move, Manorathai has a sandhi, but we'll move to that later. Vyakaranamshaha. Atratu, can I quickly just show it for you guys? This one is pretty simple. Or do we want to go through it one by one? Shall I just show it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Udyamena, we know it's Tritya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. It is the Udyama Shabdaha, Akaranta Pullingaha. He is an Avyayam. Siddhyanti. It is Siddh Dhatu. Because it is so Siddhyati, it will come in Ekavachanam. This is Siddhyanti. So it is Bahuvachanam. Prathama Purushaha, Parasmaipadi Latlakara. Karyani, it is Bahuvachanam, Prathama Vibhakti. It could be in Dvitiya Vibhakti also. We don't know. Because Karyani could be Dvitiya also. For now, it's written as Prathama Vibhakti. Karya Shabdaha. Karya Shabdaha, Akaranta Napumsakalinga Shabda. Na is an Avyayam. Manorathaihi. Akaranta Pullingaha, Manoratha Shabdaha. Tritiya Vibhakti Bahuvachanam. Okay. Same thing. There are continuing Suptasya, Simhasya, both are in Shashti Vibhakti. Akaranta Pullinga Shabdas, Supta and Simha. Automatically, the minute we see this, we can see Suptasya Simhasya means Suptasya is the Visheshanam for Simhasya. Correct? Automatically, it sort of pops. Mukhe, Saptami Vibhakti. Akaranta Pullingan Mukha Shabdaha, Saptami Vibhakti. Pravishanti, Vish Dhatu. Vish Dhatu, Pra Upasarga. Parasmaipadi Latlakara, Prathama Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam. So it is Bahuvachanam here. And Mrigaha. So there is your Kartripadam. Akaranta Pullinga Mriga Shabdaha, Prathama Vibhakti, Bahuvachanam. So Bahuvachanam, we can see Mrigaha Pravishanti over there. That is the Mula Vakyam in the second part. And in the first part, again, we had a Karyani Siddhyanti, Bahuvachanam. So that is your Mula Vakyam, Karyani Siddhyanti. So we can already see it taking shape. What is the meaning of this? Pratipadarthaha. Now to do the Pratipadarthaha, what do we do? Sorry, just 1 minute. Okay. We will actually continue with this next class. can I actually go? I will stop it now because there's going to be a meeting right now. So I'll stop the meeting. We'll continue with this in next class, and I'll bring some more shlokas as well for us to do Anvayam. At this state, how are you guys feeling comfortable with just how to do Anvaya Rachana? Yeah.
Shamyata Mahoday, don't stop for me. If you want to finish this, I can wait. No problem.
Is that okay? No problem?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we'll finish off. Is everybody okay for just another 5-10 minutes? Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So Pratipadarthaha. So Udyamena ityukte Parishramena. With a lot of effort. When we go and do Udyamena Parishramena. He is an exclamation mark basically. It's your Avyaya Padam. Siddhyanti. So Nishpadayanti. To accomplish. When something is accomplished. Or this is Bahuvachanam. So Siddhyanti, Nishpadayanti, Karyani, Kritihi, Karanani, whatever the works, the deeds, Karyani. Na, again Avyayam, no, not. Manorathaihi, Ichhabhihi. So this is the Sadhanam. Ichhabhihi, Ashabhihi. Suptasya. If you go into this Pratipadarthaha, if you go into your Pravesha book, it is there. The meaning of the words are there. So I just put it in Sanskrit over here. Suptasya, Nidritasya, Yaha Nidram Karoti Tasya. Simhasya, Mrigendraha asti, Mrigendrasya, Nochet Kesari asti, Kesarehe. Mukhe, Yasya Mukham asti, mouth, Vadane, Asye. Pravishanti, Ante Gachanti, go inside, enter. Mrigaha, Jantavaha, Pashavaha, iti asti, santi, tatra. So Samanyartha
Shamyatam, Kesarinaha asti Mahoday. Kesarin Shabda.
Kesari asti khalu? Kesari Hari Shabdaha?
Kesarin.
द्वितीयम् अपि अस्ति केसरिन् अपि अस्ति केसरी अपि अस्ति
Okay. Okay. So Mrigendrasya. Anantaram Udyamena to tatra Samanyartha Tatparyam. So over there, we know this already, that when we have things that we want to accomplish, they cannot be accomplished only by dreaming about it with your manoratham. You can only accomplish it by actually doing something about it with effort. Udyamenam, Udyamena eva kartum shaknumaha. So the same way, Yatha. So there is an Adhyahritam padam there. Yatha, yadi ekah simha asti, suptaha simha asti, tasya mukhe Mrigaha, kepi mrigaha na pravishanti. Swayam na pravishanti. So there is that yatha over there. So when you got your Vakya Vishleshanam, you have to then see you have a Kriya Suchaka Padam. You have two Vakyams here. Vakya Dvayam asti atra. So you have to see which Kriya Padam is associated with which all the other Padani over there, Karakanis. So first of all, you have your Siddhyanti. So Siddhyanti, what is associated with Siddhyanti over here? We have Udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani na manorathaihi. That is our first sentence. So based off of that, we've got Kriya Sucha Padam, we've got Siddhyanti, Prathama Vibhakti, we've got Karyani, Tritiya, we've got Udyamena, Manorathaihi, and Avyayam is there, is he, in the first sentence. Second sentence, we've got Mrigaha and Prathama Vibhakti, Suptasya, Simhasya, and in Saptami Vibhakti, we've got Mukhe. And this is all associated with which Kriya Padam? Is associated with Na Pravishanti. That's all. Okay? So far, I'm running. Is it okay? Are you guys understanding?
Yes.
Mahoday, why is it Kriya Suchaka Padam?
Oh, it is Kriya Padam only. These are all lakaras. But if you can always say Kriya Suchaka Padam.
Okay.
It's not a problem there. These are Kriya Padams. These are lakaras, lakara format. But we can always say Kriya Suchaka Padam. It doesn't matter. Whichever is pointing to the action. So over here, then we've got, after this, we've got our Anvaya Rachana. So over here, we've asked the questions. We ask Siddhyanti. Kani Siddhyanti? Karyani Siddhyanti. Kena Siddhyanti? Udyamena Siddhyanti. Kaihi Siddhyanti? Manorathaihi na Siddhyanti. Manorathaihi na Siddhyanti. Then we've got our second sentence. Pravishanti. Ke na Pravishanti. Mrigaha na pravishanti. We've got Mrigaha pravishanti. Actually, it's Mrigaha na pravishanti. Khalu tatra. It is na pravishanti over there. I should have just put as na pravishanti in the Kriya Padam. Okay. na pravishanti. So we've got na pravishanti. So ke na pravishanti, mrigaha na pravishanti. Kutra na pravishanti, mukhe na pravishanti. Kasya mukhe na pravishanti, simhasya mukhe na pravishanti. Kidrishasya simhasya mukhe na pravishanti, suptasya simhasya mukhe na mrigaha na pravishanti. So you can read it back. Suptasya simhasya mukhe mrigaha na pravishanti. Tadeva. Nochet, you can start with mrigaha. Okay. You write your Anvaya format in whatever makes the most sense to you. That's all. So Anvaya kramaha karyani udyamena siddhyanti manorathayhina yatha mrigaha suptasya simhasya mukhe swayameva na pravishanti. That swayameva is there to give a little bit more explanation, to say that they won't go in by themselves. It's not there in the original one because it doesn't allow for, the vritti doesn't allow for it, the chandas doesn't allow for it. But when we are doing the tatparam, when we are understanding, we see it is not that they don't go into the mouth. They do go into the mouth, but they don't go in by themselves. Correct? Into a sleeping lion's mouth. Tadev. So things get the same. The Anvayartha is done. So that was the idea of how to do shlokanam Anvayartha. Shlokanam Anvayartha, the problem, what happens, the meaning is hard to get in shlokas. So we either go by the meaning that is given to us by our gurus or the meaning that is given from the book, and then we go and do vishleshanam of what is the pratipadartha. Then we try and find the Sanskritam equivalent and we do the tatparyam like that. Okay. But remember, for our level, if you're not able to do it in Sanskritam, do it in English. It is perfectly fine. Anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I rushed. Ran. No questions?
धन्यवादः महोदय.
प्रीति महोदय एकवारं केवलं शान्तिमन्त्रम्.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः. पुनर्मिलामः.